I am out west digging gold for Matilda, searching for ore down beneath the lake. She's my sweetheart and she's happy, has a beard just like her pappy, and she needs gold to put in her teeth. My oh my, how I sigh when I'm digging for gold down beneath. If my luck don't change, I'll dump it, and I'll find a claim and jump in. By Yiminy, they sure sound good. For my sweetheart needs gold for her teeth, for her teeth.
Welcome, guys. We are back. Um, we are going to be redoing a few things. We're going to be ditching a few things, and Sean is not going to have a friggin' mental breakdown.
Hey, can you turn your voice up a little bit?
I can try, but I believe it's already up all the way. Yep.
Okay, because I thought you were wearing the headset.
So, well, no, I just said the headset doesn't work with this system.
Oh,
It's the same exact program. Because, okay, guys, here's the thing: is Tan and I just got done video chatting on Messenger. Okay, these have a built-in microphone. Now, I can't use these when we're live streaming for some reason. Same exact chat, same exact everything, but they don't let me. Now, here's the other crazy thing is on Badass Mining's page, we can't do a split screen like this. So we're having to live stream off of this page, my personal page, and then I'll edit it tomorrow and then upload it to Badass's page on Saturday. So just got to do what we got to do. It's 2020. We got to adapt, right?
It is 2020.
Okay, so my name's Sean.
my name's.
This is
Yeah, go ahead.
this is Tan.
I was ready.
Yes, I will give real names.
I was ready for you to say this is Waldo or something else. I was gonna try to beat you from it.
No, we're actually into the first show in quite a long time. So I'm thinking we might as well, introduce our real personas here. And yeah, I'm Sean. This is Tan.
Yep.
And then we have
Sammy over
one of
here.
our roving reporters, Sammy
And then it's Daryl. He's in the floor.
and Daryl.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And then our tech junkie back there in the corner.
He's on the computer. Daryl, put a towel down or something. Come over here and see.
And that is Tian.
Yeah.
So this is the Badass Mining crew of who puts on the show. So the one thing that we are going to be starting off with every show is the precious metal prices, because that's one of the main things that we like to do. So it looks like we're starting out with 1864. That's $1,864.30 an ounce for gold. Silver's coming in at $24.13 an ounce. And platinum is coming in at $956 an ounce. And the reason why the precious metal market is staying under 2,000 right now, and if you've been watching us at all, you know that I've been saying over and over again, keep watching for it to go above 2,000, because that is what they'll lose control of it once it bounces up above 2,000 too much. And Right now, I just read an article that was released today, and I'll make sure and put the links and stuff on the edited version of this. Uh, the speculators are just beside themselves. They say there is no reason why gold should be under $2,000 an ounce. There is no reason at all for it. It's being propped up somehow. So I'm not sure how they're doing it, but they seem to be doing it. But they're looking right into the first quarter of the year, next year, 2021. They're looking at it going up to and above $2,300 an ounce. So just make sure to keep an eye on that, because as soon as it starts going up above 2,000, because it just barely skimmed above 2,000, they were able to bring it back down, because they knew that if it went too much further up that scale, the dollar was going to crash. So they're trying to keep that from happening, especially during the transition. If there is a transition, I don't even want to get into that. I don't care. Kanye, I'm sorry for your loss. Anyway, so that was Precious Metal Report, and a little bit of background on why it's doing what it's doing. But there was also an article that I just read just like 3 months ago. They discovered the world's largest gold deposit
Wow.
in Siberia.
Wow.
It is massive. The ground is yielding like 3 grams per ton. It is just phenomenal. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. They were talking like 81 million ounces.
Wow.
Well, that'll help the Russian economy.
Well, no, it's not. They auctioned it off.
Oh, they auctioned it off.
Yes, they did.
Who was it?
Like they do
was it
everything
a private
else.
company, or was it a Russian company?
It was not a Russian company, no.
Wow. I bet they're going to have to pay through the nose for it.
They hardly paid anything for that track.
Wow. Well, good for them.
So, well, you know what? With the economy going the way it is worldwide, there's a lot of corporations that are realizing if they don't step it up and get actual value to their companies, they're going to end up losing them like everybody else. So,
yeah.
Once you have, assets that you can actually hold in your hand, that gives you a leg up when it comes to this current global crisis that we're facing. So, yeah. Anyway, so what do you got for us?
What do I got? Well, you gave me a job to do, and so I went back, and I have to bring my book out with my notes on it, because I cannot for the life of me have all the information that I have. Cheat sheet. That's right. Daryl says the cheat sheet. You doggone right it is. So Sean has this beautiful quartz. Okay. And of course, we all know that is rose quartz. Everybody could probably find rose quartz just about anywhere. It's everywhere, all over the world. And it's called a triagonal system. It's where the axes and the angles are similar to a hexagon system, and they're formed from iron, titanium, and magnetite. They come in light, dark, and they even come in a lavender color, which is, I haven't seen one yet, but you have many different types of them, and it's if you're into Reiki, yes, they come in. Let's see, they're considered to govern the heart, the lungs, the kidney, and the liver. And as far back as 600 BC, they were used for healing, and they're used for healing now. But the healing comes more in a variety of different ways. They're when they're put with other crystals, a lot of them will say that they give power, more energy, because all of us are energy. So why wouldn't a stone help? So I believe that there are things that we can do to help ourselves. And if crystals work, crystals work. I mean, a lot of us will go out and put our bare feet on the ground, and Sean does this often, and center themselves. So, the earth has a lot of power, and this particular stone has a really great power. But one of the things that I love about it, it's called the Love Stone. Oh, yes. So let's put some romance in it. Okay. So it's called the Love Stone, and here's the reason why it's called the Love Stone. So it's a story about Adonis and Aphrodite. Aphrodite was obsessed with Adonis, and that enraged Ares. Ares was the god of war. And it ticked him off so bad that he looked for every opportunity there was possible in order to get revenge. So one day, Adonis was out in the forest, and Ares followed him out there. Well, he turned himself, Ares, into a boar. And he mortally wounded Adonis. Well, Aphrodite is in the heavens, and she hears Adonis's cry, and she comes down from the heavens, and she lands on the earth. And what happens is she lands on a briar bush, which cuts her. So she runs to Adonis, she cradles his head in her arms, and he's bleeding, and she's bleeding, and their blood together formed the rose quartz. But it's a sad story, but there's a good part to it. So Zeus, who feels very sad for Aphrodite, and he has a big heart for her, so he decided that 6 months out of the year, Adonis can be alive. And that's the end of the story.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, so, but there's more. I would believe there's more to it, because we're looking at history, and why would it only be 6 months out of the year? There's more to it. I just didn't see what was in it.
Which 6 months,
Yeah.
and where does he go for the other 6
Yeah.
months?
Yeah, it's kind of balance in there.
So, yeah, for life and death, that would make he's alive for 6 months. He's dead for 6 months. Or maybe maybe that's all she can take. Who knows?
Only have the significant other for 6 months of the year.
Kind of sounds.
Maybe he has to go vacation in the French Caribbean. I don't know.
Kind of sounds like us in a little bit. Anyway, Reiki practitioners, they use the rose quartz for the heart chakra, which is right here on your chest. And you're holding the stone right here at the heart, and you're meditating. And it can be a meditation of any type. I mean, it is called a love stone, and it isn't that it's going to bring your love to you. It's opening your heart so that you can be acceptant to the partner that you're looking for. But it has such great value. After seeing it performed and seeing people use the stone, it is more for a positive than it is for a negative, and it balances it out. If you're somewhere in your house and you feel a negative, or maybe you're just feeling negative, if you place the rose stone like on your chest, and you just meditate and say, I want to be calm, I want to be calm, I want to understand. It's supposed to be able to put in with your energy and give a positive flow. One of the things that I asked Sean to do was, since he has the stone, one of its properties also is supposed to be to help you sleep. So I asked Sean if he would put the stone by his bed, or the crystal by his bed, or on his bed or something, for 3 days and tell me how he feels. So, you up for it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think that you're center with yourself with the earth, and you're made of energy. Even after you pass away for the next life, you're still energy. And so I don't see where it wouldn't work. I think that it would work. Um,
Yeah.
it Anyway, you can find rose quartz just about anywhere. Just walking along pathways or whatnot. Now, the size that Sean has right there, I would take it that they fractured it off from another piece, or it fell off, because it's really very smooth, and so it's been worked. But you have to remember, it is more.
Well, no, this is okay. Hold on. This actually, this piece came from South Dakota,
Okay.
and it was brought over to a rock shop in the back of a truck that was loaded with 15 tons of it,
Wow.
mostly in boulders,
Yeah.
and pieces broke off because there's some pretty good sized fractures when it comes to crystals that size.
But rose quartz.
And so this is actually a raw piece.
Yeah.
And it has I know it looks like it's been cut, but if you feel the surface, you can actually feel the ridges of where it broke
But
off.
it looks
But it
smooth,
feels
though.
like it's wet.
Yeah, but it looks smooth.
It feels like it's wet.
But one of the things that I didn't know about it is that it's a triagonal. It's from a triagonal system. And that's, like I said, where the axis and the angles are similar to a hexagon. So
Right.
it's not like a regular crystal. Like if you see some of the other crystals, they look like crystals. They got the point at the top and they're straight on the bottom. Well, most of those have been worked. In this particular circumstance, if it hasn't been worked, you look at it and you can see that it is super strong structure. I mean, it's a very tight structure. So they say that it's rare to find a crystal, the perfect crystal with the points at the top and the points at the bottom and the cylinder. It's just, that's not the type of crystal that the rose quartz is. So it's quite an interesting piece. But one of the things that they talk about is that this crystal they'll use with another crystal. So if you're looking for something that, say, for your feet, and there's a crystal out there for your feet, I'll go into that later on with other segments on the different ones. But if you use that one with that one, then it gives a positive to that particular crystal, which is doing the positive work on your foot or whatever it is that you have. But they also used it, like, it's been used since 600 BC. They've proven that the Egyptians used it. And what the Egyptians did with it, and this is really quite interesting, I mean, for those women that really enjoy beauty products, and this is a new product it's been out for a long time, but it's now it's the rage, is the Egyptians used to have it rounded, and they would rub it on their face, and they said that it would help to take the wrinkles away. Now, just recently, and I should have taken it out, but I didn't do it, I got this box from one of the companies that I like to buy makeup from, and for free they sent me this thing. It's a roller. Well, on the end of the roller is a quartz crystal, and you rub it on your face. You're supposed to roll it on your face. You're supposed to make a routine out of it, and it's supposed to take the wrinkles away. And I thought, when I first got it, I thought, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But then after I've been reading these things about it, it was like, well, maybe it's not as dumb as I think it is. Maybe it's for real. I haven't used it. It's still brand new in the box. Maybe I'll use it. I mean, I am 65 years old. I do have wrinkles.
No, you don't. What are you talking about?
So, but that's what you gave me, and that's what I'm sending off to you. And um, someday I'll have a display, and it will have every one of the crystals. And hopefully, I'm going to put it in like a chakra, so that I have them all there displayed. Because
Well, that's one of the things that we're going to be doing is going over to Richardson's Ranch, and they're going to be open all winter.
oh really?
Yeah. So she said that they're going to probably not be open 2 days out of the week or something like that, or only be open for like 3 days a week. I'll have to call them and find out, but Richardson Ranch is right outside of Madras, Oregon.
Yeah.
They have a phenomenal stock of rocks,
Oh.
gemstones, precious semi and precious both. They get them from all over the world. When you pull up, they've got so many rock. They've got like a section from Madagascar
Mhm.
that's in huge bins, and we're talking about like half the size of a car. These bins are. I did a live stream there. I don't know, a couple months ago, I think.
Yeah, I
But
remember you going in.
yeah, it was just it was. I wish somebody would have been there with me, because that would have been a blast. And I was kind of in a hurry, so
Yeah, but it was
it is
I
what it is.
remember the live stream that you did with it, and there was some magnificent pieces. One of the things that I would love to do, and we've both talked about this, was to be able to do our own. And he actually came across a guy who has a machine that turns them into orbs. And I was just like, oh, I want one.
Yeah,
I really want
same guy who sold me this.
I don't know how those would work in it, but hey, I saw them.
He's got them. He's got them. In fact, remember the live stream that I did? I think it was last year, maybe the year before, from the rock shop in between Bend and Redmond.
Yes,
Okay, Mel.
yes.
Okay. He's the one that does the spheres, and he's actually got more than one, and he's in his late 80s now, and he said that he doesn't think he's going to be open for too much longer, especially after this year.
Do you want to sell his equipment?
Well, I think what he's going to be doing is selling his entire stock, because he said his son really doesn't want to do it. I don't know if that's going to change, but
Gosh, that would be a wonderful thing to have. I mean, both of us
I
are
asked him.
collectors, and we would build our house of stone if we could, in wood.
Oh, that's another one of the things that there's this place here in Oregon called Glass Butte,
Yeah.
and I don't know, there's like 9 different types of obsidian
Oh yes.
or volcanic glass
Yeah.
on this butte. And I've got like 3 or 4 different hand-drawn maps, and you can actually look up on Google Glass Butte map.
Yeah.
And if you go to the images, you'll see all these hand-drawn maps. Well, there's 2 of them that are absolute and complete nonsense. And when you're actually up on the butte, you realize, okay, the person that drew these has never been here before. And then the other ones, you actually see specific marks, like there's a place where there's an abandoned, what kind of mine was that? Perlite, a perlite mine. I've never heard of such a thing. I know what perlite is, but I didn't realize that it was straight mined out of the ground, but yet there's a perlite mine up there.
Oh,
Really interesting. And it was kind of funny because at the time, I was driving a Toyota Camry, and as I'm driving all over this butte, I'm seeing truck parts alongside the little goat trail that I was driving up. And I started thinking to myself, maybe a Camry wasn't such the best idea to be bringing up here, but I actually was able to make it into better areas than it looked like what the trucks could get. Because some of the areas,
yeah.
I was a lot narrower to be able to get into areas. And I actually have quite a few specimens left of the obsidian. All of the really cool ones, somebody won them in the divorce. So
Wasn't me.
I'm going to have to get replacements. No, it wasn't Dan. But I'm going to have to get replacements for those, and I will definitely be going back up there because that was a blast. In fact, next time I go up there, I want to spend some time up there, like 3 or 4 days, and start going around there, because up at the very top, okay, this is where it kind of gets weird. When you get up to the very top, there is one area that has a grandfather claim in there, and they're allowed to mine obsidian, even though you cannot pretty much anywhere else in the country mine obsidian.
Really?
It's just, yeah, and it's crazy, but they were able to fight in their grandfather, and so they were allowed to keep their claim. And when you get up there, you realize how old this claim is, because they pretty much built a wall out of obsidian chunks, and they built all these little ornamental monument looking things. And then of course crazy people go up there and start hanging like bones and skeletons and crap from the trees and stuff, so it gives this real spooky, ominous vibe. But it's like, okay, if you don't know what shock value is about, then you're gonna get spooked. But there is one local legend that I heard up there of Bigfoot. And it's weird because when you get up there, you're looking around and you're going, this is the friggin' desert. Why would Bigfoot be anywhere around here? But all of a sudden you get into some of these draws and these areas that just go right back up in the mountains, and you start kind of questioning whether something could be running around there, because it is highly volcanic area. Obviously, that's where you find all the volcanic glass. And I don't know, there's several times when I was up there that I got the distinct impression that I was being watched. And I usually am pretty good at that feeling. In fact, that was one of the things that I did tell one of the people. They said, well, what happened when you were up at the fires? And
He's gonna tell you.
there was quite a few things that happened to me up at the fires. I didn't really want to get into it too much because honestly, I looked for evidence and I looked for proof of what happened.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't any. I couldn't find any type of tracks. I couldn't. Okay, let me start back from the beginning. The first night that we were up there, and this was at up by Mount Hood in Oregon, the turnoff from the highway to get to Timothy Lake. And what we were doing there, and there was me and the guy I was working for, is we would wash the vehicles, making sure that there was no noxious seeds or anything, no native soil or anything that was getting drug out into the roads or into new areas. And so we were way far away from the camp, like 8 miles from the actual camp. And we were the only ones that were out here. And the first night that we were out there, set up our tents, went to bed, and I would say it was probably about 1:30 in the morning. I was half asleep, half awake, and all of a sudden I hear what sounds like a 12 gauge shotgun go off and a thump like a tree just got broke. Now, there wasn't any storm, there wasn't anything going on at all. And I'm sitting there going, well, it's this area of woods is old. There's probably some trees that are pretty saturated, and it did rain. So, it is what it is. So I'm going back to sleep. And within 2 minutes, another one, crack, boom. And I'm like, okay, that was a little bit off the scale as far as the odds of it happening twice that quick. Yeah, not likely. Well, I kind of whispered over to the next tent to see if my boss was awake, and he didn't say anything. And I figured, well, screw it. It's no big deal. I haven't heard any other noises other than this. And then about 15 minutes later, right behind our tents, it happens again. And all of a sudden I hear my boss going, Sean, did you hear that? Sean, what was that? Sean, is that you? I'm like, dude, that was like the third one that's happened. And all of a sudden you hear this boom, 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 like footsteps. And so I get out of the tent, and he gets out of his tent, and we're listening, and I hear the footsteps. And so I go running towards the footsteps.
Yeah, that's Sean.
And Norm's like, dude, let me grab the flashlight. And by that point, I was probably, I don't know, 100 yards away. And I couldn't hear anything anymore. And I'm just standing there listening and didn't hear anything. And he comes running up behind me with a flashlight. And he's looking around, and he's like, what do you think that was? I said, I have no idea, man, but we're working right next to an active fire. I'm sure we're going to see animals going through here, probably fairly regularly. And I said, it could have been a bear, it could have been anything.
Yeah, but you knew.
And he's like, well, yeah, but I've never seen a bear just break off trees. And I was like, yeah, that was kind of odd. And so anyway, the following night, we were kind of waiting for it, and I heard it happen, but it wasn't nearly as close. It was probably a couple hundred yards away. So it was probably almost 1,000 feet away from us. And I kept hearing like low grunts and kind of almost ape-like noises, but I couldn't get it to pick up on any type of recording because it was so faint and so far away, and it just wouldn't pick up. And I actually picked up my breathing, and it wouldn't pick up these noises. So I was like, oh, screw it. And went out the next day, and I was trying to get pictures of anything that I could find that would cause these huge tree crashes and whatever. And there was lots of trees that were just broke off. And I'm not talking about, like fractured to where there was just so much stress from the wind and whatever that it broke off. I'm talking snapped completely off, and some of these trees were probably 5 inches, 6 inches across.
Oh.
And one of the strange things that I did notice, and see, my whole theory behind this, they kept saying Bigfoot, and I kept telling them, look, there are too many instances to where large animals of some kind, they're unidentified, they're just automatically put into the Bigfoot group, and they're not even related to each other. And we just have this habit of grouping everything into this Sasquatch Bigfoot group. And a lot of these things, I honestly strongly believe that we do have apes in North America. And I mean, it took Jane Goodall a long time to find a group of apes that everybody knew were there. They just couldn't find them.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we have these creatures that are seen all over the place, and they don't even have the same type of descriptions, and we lump them into the same group, and we just call it Bigfoot. And then everybody dismisses it because they have a hard time being able to put a whole bunch. It'd be like putting, orangutans and aardvarks into the same category and calling them, monkeys or something. It's something so ridiculous that we do, but it gives the skeptics enough ammo to where they just go, no, they don't exist. Well, when put into a situation to where you have to face facts that, yes, there is something large outside of my tent right now, and I'm not sure what it is, saying it's Bigfoot is irresponsible as you can get. That is just, you cannot just jump in and say, oh, it is a Bigfoot. Yeah, it is a Bigfoot. No. You have to actually get some evidence that backs up your theory. And that's one thing that I could not do, no matter how hard I tried while I was up there. That's why I really didn't address it too much when I came back. But it wasn't the only thing that happened. So it actually happened after my boss had taken off, because we were required to have what's called a reset, and you have to take 2 days off, which means you're basically getting 1 day off and spending, a half a day and a half a day in travel time. So I got his stepson up there to relieve him, and we started having the same thing happen. And he was up there for I believe it was a little over a week. And the first couple nights that he was up there, yeah, we had the same thing. There was trees breaking off. There was some weird growls and noises, and he kept trying to get this thing to interact, and kept pretty much trying to make it mad, and it really wasn't going to play the game, and we didn't see it or hear it after that. But the night before he left, I got up to go pee and walked around the side of my tent, and it's probably 2 o'clock in the morning. So, and it's dark. And anyway, I walk over and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden I hear what sounds like a bird chirping, like within 5-6 feet in front of me on the other side of this bush. And that noise I have heard before, and I got so much more nervous with that noise than, the trees breaking off, that I actually backed up very slowly and got back in my tent because that cougar was way too close for comfort.
Absolutely. Wow.
And so anyway, I'm laying there and I'm like, okay, this thing's either coming through my tent or it's gonna just keep moving along. And anyway, I had noticed several times throughout that afternoon and into the evening that there was something that was moving on the outskirts, like in the tree line. And I could never look fast enough to catch anything, but it was small enough to where I didn't feel threatened. But the following morning, uh, I wake up to hear the other guy in his tent go, "Oh man!" I was like, "What?" He goes, "Smells like cat pee in here."
Someone mark.
And I went, what? He goes, "It smells like cat pee in here." And I went, "That's odd." And so anyway, I get up, I put my clothes on, get my boots on, I get out, and he's outside of his tent and he's scrubbing it with soap and water. And I was like, "Dude, seriously." And he goes, "Man," he goes, "something peed all over my tent." He goes, "And it smells like cat pee." And I went, "Oh, then I guess that cougar really probably took exception to you and not me as much because it chirped at me and it peed on you."
I know.
So
Moral of
anyway,
the story: don't piss off a cougar.
yeah, no, you don't want to. But yeah, there was quite a few animals that were moving on through there while I was up there. But the first camp that I was at, which is it was actually on the Warm Springs Reservation. In fact, I posted. I'll make sure and throw some pictures of the horses, the wild horses
Oh,
that I took while I was at this spot. But at night, the coyotes had come through there, and it was a good sized pack. And the second to the last night and the last night that I was at this place, because I ended up getting reset and we had to take a week for maintenance. And the last 2 nights I was there, this one coyote broke off from the rest of his pack and he would circle my tent all night long,
God.
yipping and making all sorts of noise and racket. And I would get out of my tent and I would chase it around the tent like 2, 3 times, and then it would go off, and I'd think that I'd chased it away, go back in, lay it back down, and within 20 minutes, this thing would be back circling my tent, and I didn't have any food in it. There was nothing in it it was just there to irritate me and make sure I didn't get any sleep because it was 16-hour days that we were working. So,
Sit there to go neither,
yeah,
and you sleep you.
yeah, well, it was interesting because he was just a little guy too. I mean, I could barely make him out in the moonlight, but when we first got up and started working the fires, it was still over 100 degrees during the day. And by the time that I got off, it was below freezing at night, and it was barely getting up to 40 degrees.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's the story that I have for my encounter of whatever it was up there. But I do plan on going back up. Timothy Lake is absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
It is so beautiful up there.
I want to go up.
Yeah, but we will definitely make a trip up there because it's also where the Clackamas River and Molalla River start. So
Wow.
uh,
Can you
getting up
tube
in
it?
there and
Can you tube it? Can we kayak it?
No, you don't. No, no,
Bummer.
you don't. This, yeah, it's so dangerous back up in there. Basically, you're gonna want to just go and pick your spots and see what you can get to. Well, now I'm not even sure how much of the wilderness is going to be accessible. They're going to try to shut most of it down.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just going to be waiting and seeing what they're going to do. So
I know that puts all of us on kind of on edge that likes to camp and rock hound and just enjoy nature the way it is. But yeah,
yeah.
I don't really want to go into it. Yeah, I love Sean's stories. He's always got something he's done. He usually doesn't tell me until later.
Well, see, here's the thing about a lot of the stuff that happens to me is, like I said, I have had some, it's just out and out bizarre stuff happen. Tan knows. And the thing about it is, I most of the time I've got witnesses. I mean, it's not like this stuff is just happening in my own head. It's actually happening. Yeah, it's I attract weird
You attract
crap.
weird.
So
Are you calling me weird?
No, I think he called us weird.
Calling us all weird, yes.
I'm calling everybody weird.
Yeah, all of us are weird.
If you're associated with me in any way, shape, or form, you've at least got, that much on the weird scale.
So if everyone is watching this, all the people that are watching this, you've got a smidgen of weird in you, if not more.
Yep, that's true. Yep,
'Cause
absolutely. You have to.
you cannot be a miner, a rock hound, without being a little weird. That's just all there is to it.
Well, it's the only way that you can explain why you've got buckets of rocks and you're proud of those buckets of rocks.
Okay.
And when you go places,
Alright.
you pick up rocks to take home with you because obviously
Yeah.
you don't have enough rocks at home.
That's right.
That's how weird you are.
Okay, so a short story. My sister, when we moved out of Alaska, she took all of our belongings with her out of the storage unit, so that we didn't have to pay a storage unit anymore. Anyway, she was going through the stuff because it's been there for a long time, and we haven't been home in a long time. And she asked me, she said, "Tan, why do you have a box of rocks?" And I said, "Put them in your garden." She goes, "Why do you have a box of rocks?" And I said, "Because I lost all my marbles." So anyway, rocks are easy to come by, marbles are not. But anyway, I told her, I said, "Put them in your garden. They're fine. I don't have a problem with you putting them in your garden." And she did. She lined her whole garden with pretty rocks that I have collected for I don't know how long Sean and I have been together. And so out at this house are all the rocks that we collected all that time. And that's fine. It's all fine. I wish that Tony had got them. I wish that, Tony and Johnny had got them because I know that Tony would have put them in her yard. And
Yeah.
she just, they just bought their house a couple years ago. So, but it's all right. Rocks are rocks. They just happen to have been from all over, except for Hawaii. I don't take rocks from Hawaii. That is just not a place to go take rocks from.
No, there's a few places you might not want to take anything.
Yeah,
from.
I was reading a story a while back that I found pretty interesting. All these people were sending back petrified wood to the people that run the forest, the petrified forest up in Arizona and Utah, I guess, or not Utah, neighboring area. Anyway, people were sending it because they were saying it was causing them bad luck from the time that they had picked them from the forest. And mind you, it is against the law in the petrified forest to pick up any rocks. You cannot.
Yep.
You cannot. So if you go out to the petrified forest, please do not be disrespectful. Leave them where they're at so somebody else can see them. But there are other places to get petrified wood at. And here in Oregon, there is a place that we can go to, and Sean and I really want to go there. And I've seen some of the petrified wood that's coming out of it, and I would love to have a table that has legs made of petrified wood. And they're coming up with pieces that are, 8 and 12 inches long, that's pretty long and nice size round. So
Which one are you talking about?
the one that's up there, up by the coast, he has that whole area. I don't even know what it's called. You were looking into it.
Oh, you're talking about down
Yeah. we'll,
I'm brain farting the name of the area.
we'll,
It's down in southern Oregon.
yeah. We'll when we go on these
Southwestern
excursions, we'll make sure that he's going to post videos of it, absolutely. And
Well, there's actually closer places that you can go get cast limb casts, and you can get petrified wood in Prineville over here.
yeah, I saw
Prineville's like
I saw
35 miles away from me.
I saw a YouTube video on a guy who went out and he was out digging, and his wife he gets out of his rig and he jumps out when he gets the shovel, and he's just start digging like crazy. And she's standing there looking at him like, what are you doing? And all of a sudden he pulls this huge chunk like this long and this big around up out of the ground. And all he saw was the very top part of it. And he knew exactly what it was. And he went around and he said he found other pieces, not as tall as that one, but he found other pieces. And he actually built a table with this petrified wood to sit in his living room. And I thought that was really, except for it was glass, and that was the only thing I didn't like about it was glass. If it was me, it would be like a big slab of rock or wood or something up underneath it. But anyway, it was
Oh,
really,
you know what would be cool is that sky blue slate that I found up in Alaska. Remember when my old partner and I went up the avalanche chute over in
yes.
what is that area?
You're not talking
Past Girdwood. When you're turning to Whittier, that area right there.
Portage?
Yeah, Portage. Okay. That area right there where the old Portage Inn was,
Okay.
okay, or is.
Yeah.
When you're looking up the valley and you look over to the left, the very first avalanche, that big, huge avalanche chute that comes down probably 3,200 feet. Yeah, we went up there, and if you head back up along one of those shelves, you come across this outcrop of it's sky blue, and it's in big, huge sheets of slate.
Oh, yeah.
But it is absolutely gorgeous. But I couldn't figure out a way to get any of it down because it's in huge pieces.
Oh, I bet. Well, there's just a lot of things that we've seen, and I love the fact that we both love the natural, just making natural furniture. So,
yeah.
But don't ask me to weave a chair. It's not gonna happen. I have a heck of a time weaving a basket, let alone a chair.
Hey, I wove a couple baskets. I got pretty good once they taught me how to do it.
Yeah. So, okay, what time is it?
It is time.
Yep.
So
It's that.
do your thing.
Okay. Hey guys, I hope that you enjoyed this segment. If you have any questions or anything, please just email us and we're more than happy to answer them. For everyone who's joined with Badass, we want to thank you very much for joining up with us, and we're just glad you're here. So, from my heart to yours, have a wonderful day and stay safe.
Alrighty, guys. As always, we love each and every one of you. You guys make sure to take care of yourselves and each other. And we are out of here until next week. And yes, we're going to get back on a weekly schedule. We'll probably be doing our live streams on Thursdays and then uploading to Badass Page on Facebook on Saturdays. And
we have some good things coming.
Yeah, we have some really good things coming. Yeah, I've actually done some homework this time, guys, so it should be a lot more interesting.
Yep.
We've got some guests that we're going to be having do some different interesting stuff. The terrible twosome that hasn't really been on camera at all over here, they're going to be contributing as well.
Yep. Oh, Daryl's coming up. Daryl's coming up. Keep going. There he is. Sammy. And we got Sammy over here.
Just tired.
Yeah.
Sammy's tired because she just got off from work. She's our medical professional.
12-hour shift.
Yeah, she is. But anyway,
Alrighty,
guys,
so
we're gonna go.
yep.
Okay.
So we will see you next week, and you guys take care.
All right. Love y'all. Bye.